Hi everyone, welcome back to English with Jackie. I'm Jackie and I'm here to teach you American English. This year is our election year and I figure it's a good idea to teach you some words related to the election and American politics. I will first review the words and then go over them one by one at the end to help you learn. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's first talk about the three related words: politics, politician, and political. Notice two things. Politics always has an S at the end. Second, politics and politician have the stress on the first syllable, and political has the stress on the second syllable. The next three words are also related: democracy, democrat, and democratic. Again, the stress is on the first syllable for democrat and democratic, but the stress is on the second syllable for democracy. In the U.S., there are two major political parties: the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is associated with the color blue and the word left. It also has a symbol of a donkey. We usually refer to Democrats as liberals. For the Republican Party, it is associated with the color red and the word right. The party symbol is an elephant, and we refer to Republicans as conservatives. Sometimes you will also hear people use GOP to refer to the Republican Party. It stands for Grand Old Party. And for those people who are not associated with either party, we call them independents. Because of the political system in the U.S., you will hear the word bipartisan a lot. If something is bipartisan, it has the support of two political parties. For example, a bipartisan bill is a bill that is supported by both parties. On the other hand, if something is partisan, it means something is biased towards a particular point of view. Right now, the country is very polarized, which means very divided. And for those people who have an extreme political ideology, we use the term far. So, the far right or the far left. Now let's talk about the word vote. This is both a noun and a verb. So you can say, I voted yesterday. If you're using it as a noun, we usually use the verb cast to describe the action of submitting your vote. So you will say, I will cast my vote on Tuesday. Another term you hear a lot is ballot. A ballot is just the form that a voter fills out. So you can say, I cast my ballot on Tuesday. The place you vote is called a polling place or polling station. But the booth you vote in is called a voting booth. So you, as a voter, are going to a polling place to cast your ballot in a voting booth. If for whatever reason you can't go to the polling place to cast your vote, you can request an absentee ballot. You can then drop off the absentee ballot at the official polling place or official drop boxes before the election date. The general election date is November 3rd this year. However, a lot of states have early voting, which allows registered voters to cast their ballot early. Voter turnout is the percentage of eligible voters who cast their vote in an election. And so far this year, the voter turnout continues to shatter records. Because of the pandemic, a lot of states are offering mail-in ballots. Instead of going in person to vote, you can send your ballot in by mail. One thing interesting about our presidential election is that the winner is the candidate who won the most electoral votes, not the popular votes. The popular vote is simply which candidate has received the most total votes. Electoral votes is based on a system called the Electoral College, where citizens indirectly elect the president and vice president through a body of 538 electors. Electors are people chosen by their state parties who will cast their vote for the candidate who wins the popular vote in their state. So whoever wins the popular vote will get all of the electoral votes for that state, which we call winner take all. In the U.S., each president can have a maximum of 2 terms. Each term is 4 years. So every 4 years, we have a presidential election. And this year is our election year. You will hear 2 terms, the primary election and the general election. The primary election is held by each party to determine who's the party nominee for the general election. At the end of the primary election, there will be a convention where the party will come together to formally nominate the president and vice presidential candidates to compete in the general election. For the Democratic Party, it's the Democratic National Convention, which we usually refer to as the DNC. For the Republican Party, it's the Republican National Convention, which we usually refer to as the RNC. The general election is when nominees and the running mates from the 2 parties are competing with each other to win the votes of the American citizens. In order to attract the voters, the candidates will run campaigns in different states. They will have a campaign manager and a lot of volunteers to help them out. Traditionally, there are blue states, which most voters will vote for the Democratic candidates, and red states, where most voters will vote for the Republican candidates. You will also hear the term swing states or battleground states. These are states that have similar levels of support for the 2 parties. Each party could reasonably win by a swing in votes. Because of the winner-take-all system, it is critical for candidates to win the votes from the swing voters or undecided voters. Politics. Politics. Politician. Politician. Political. Political. Democracy. Democracy. Democrat. Democrat. Democratic Party. Democratic Party. Republican. Republican. Republican Party. Republican Party. Bipartisan. Bipartisan. Partisan. Partisan. Primary election. Primary election. General election. General election. Nominee. Nominee. Running mate. Running mate. Candidate. Candidate. Campaign. Campaign. Convention. Convention. Vote. Vote. Voter. Voter. Polling place. Polling place. Voting booth. Voting booth. Ballot. Ballot. Mail-in ballot. Mail-in ballot. Absentee ballot. Absentee ballot. Polls. Polls. Electoral vote. Electoral vote. Popular vote. Popular vote. Winner take all. Winner take all. Swing state. Swing state. Battleground state. Battleground state. All right, that's all. Do you find this helpful? And if you're an American citizen, make sure to go out and vote. I've already sent in my ballot and I have my I voted sticker. See you next time.